Hello, friends from Cinco Razones Deportes Network. We're back with the third episode of the Black and Pink show. And today, besides having, as usual, Austin Robillard with me, I have also Pieter Brown here from Futbol Miami TV. Pieter Brown, welcome, Peter. Welcome, Austin, back to the third episode of the Black and Pink show.
Peter, it's great to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to be with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. We are getting closer to the season, and I know Austin is very excited. He's been watching a lot of football from Inter Miami, and I know he's been texting me every day. Just, hey, I have this, I have that. I know, Austin. Season's getting close and close. They won their last game, their last friendly game against the Rowdies. How do you guys see the team?
Well, yeah, I went to both of the Tampa games up in St. Petersburg, and the game that they won. Keep in mind, it was really their B team. But the positive is
it's a win, Peter.
It was a win, and they looked good, right? So the B team.
How did they play?
The B team gave you some good feelings. They looked pretty good. McCoon in the back, I thought he looked solid. He was really organizing the defense really well. And he's probably starting on the bench this season because I know they feel like he's got some more growth and some time to do that growing. But it's promising. He looked really, really good in the back. But clearly, if you're going to have a choice between Figal and McCoon, you're going to go with Figal. But they looked good in the back. The midfield looked pretty good. The first half really was controlled by Inter Miami, and the second half, Tampa woke up a little bit and got a little more of the ball. And Tampa, they're not a bad championship side, so it was a good challenge for the B team. I think they held up well. The A team, which played the week before against Philadelphia Union, I think that was a little more of a mixed bag. You saw some potential once in a while, but they were really disorganized quite a bit. Kind of what you would expect from an expansion team playing another MLS team. So no shock. But when Pizarro came in, obviously, he calmed things a little bit, but they still have some room to grow.
It seemed as though when I watched your video on your YouTube channel, when Pizarro got in, it seemed like everything was being played through him. Is that totally true?
Yeah, no, totally true. And Pizarro, it was interesting because you wonder what is Pizarro's position, especially when you have somebody like Lee Nguyen. They both basically play the same position. So where does he end up on the field? Well, in that game, keep in mind they had not yet practiced at all with Pizarro. His position was wherever the heck he wanted to be in the attack. He was everywhere in the attack. 1 minute, he's the number 10. Next minute, he's a winger. Next minute, he's a forward. He was anywhere he felt like going, followed the ball, followed the attack. And Lee Nguyen set him up perfectly for that one goal that he scored. He just literally teed it up, and Pizarro just took it. Took a couple little fakes and shot the goal. And so, yeah, Pizarro is definitely and that's a big question is where is he going to play? Is he going to be more of a temporary number 9, which is not really his position, but it's a position of need for Inter Miami? We don't know.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
What do you think, Austin? Can he be like a false 9 like Barcelona used to do with Messi sometimes? I'm playing that role.
Yeah, I think a false 9, that's not a terrible shout. But yeah. I just, when it comes to Diego Alonso and his tactics, is he totally going to want to switch it up and go away from his 4-2-3-1 that he's used to playing back in Mexico? Or, we saw a weird 4-5-1 formation almost. There were 5 midfielders in the game against Tampa. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Lee Nguyen, it'll be good for him to get back in an attacking mid role because in LAFC, Bob Bradley had him playing a lot more defensive, which, you lose his creative ability, which is so vital to a team. But if him and Pizarro both get on the field together in some formation that can work, it would be awesome. But like I said, the number 9 is going to be the real key here. We don't have one right now that we can really say we can want to rely on. Agudella's out injured and Carranza are out injured. So we're going to have to rely on Robinson or Kiesewetter if he wants to play a true number 9 up top. We did a piece on Kiesewetter earlier. And then, Robbie Robinson is that guy that we got from the MLS Super Draft, the number 1 pick. We went high on him. He's a very talented kid. He looks tall, big. He did get the goal against Tampa. were they feeding him a lot up top against Tampa, or what was going on there with Robbie Robinson?
Yeah, he's really active up top. I mean, he runs a lot. He definitely looks promising. He's is going making himself open quite a bit. So yeah, they definitely fed him as much as they can. And unfortunately, I haven't seen Kiesewetter yet because I was hoping he would get the start in that Tampa game because
Agreed.
He did not play in the week before against Philadelphia Union. So I was hoping we would get to see him. I'm assuming he played in the closed door match against FC Dallas, but nothing's been released. We don't know.
Same thing with the Charleston Battery match too. He might get some minutes there.
Right. So that's an assumption. I wanted to see him. So but we didn't get that chance. I got to see Robinson twice. He's definitely promising. I could see him starting in that number 9, but then again, it's hard to compare when you haven't seen the other option.
True.
So it will be a surprise when Alonso rolls out his starting 11 this Sunday.
So Peter, are you happy with the way Inter Miami is taking this first season, like not bringing yet number 9 like Cavani, like some people announced, or another star that maybe could play in the number 9 position or in attacking positions? How do you feel about the way the team is handling that side?
Well, I guess I'm kind of split because you're asking maybe the wrong person in one way, in that I am such I want MLS in South Florida so bad that at the end of the day I don't care. Right.
Okay.
I was there supporting Miami Fusion, going to all those games. I was there when the team folded, and I was very involved with a small group of supporters that were doing everything they can to bring soccer back to South Florida. We bugged Don Garber so much that he granted like a town hall meeting with us. So I just want soccer in South Florida. So at the end of the day, I'm just happy they're on the field. Having said all that, they did promise a lot, and they did kind of lead us down this path to think that we were going to be the Galacticos. We were.
Yes.
Yeah. Where is that now? I know that they've had these conversations, with all these big name players. They've had, but they haven't closed any deals. And so, is that a good thing that they're being smart and not overpaying? I don't know. Or have some of these players turned them down? Is MLS in Miami not as attractive as we thought it was? I mean, we thought this was a destination that everybody wants to go and retire in South Florida. Because, look, you're talking to these older players. That's kind of what you may be thinking. Get a couple good years out of them, and then it's kind of retired. But it didn't happen. So maybe it's not as sexy as we thought it was. But, you got to have faith in Paul McDonough. He's done this. This is the 3rd time he's done this. But, of course, he's not – he can make mistakes. It's just as much as anybody else. I was expecting at least one big name player so that, you put that face up on the billboard. People know who that person is. It's partially for the play on the field and partially for promotion and marketing, because that is a massive part that has not really been addressed. This team is so far behind on so many things in the front office. We're all talking about what's happening on the field. I think the field is not that bad. They've got a lot of young talent that's exciting. It's a little bit like what Paul McDonough did in Atlanta. And when I spoke to Paul at the stadium one day when I was peeping around the perimeter, he said that it was basically the same thing when he built Atlanta. Nobody knew who these players were. Nobody was excited about those players, and they questioned all his decisions at that time, and it worked. So he's obviously working on that same kind of philosophy and same thought that. And I asked him, "Where's our stars?" His question to me was, "Define star." Right. And so he's battling my thoughts on the stars, but I think they're on the field. I think it'll work itself out. I think we're better than what some people may say, but we're not as good as we were hoping.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what I see from the Atlanta United, I had the opportunity to be there in the last MLS Cup they won. And when you see that team, you really don't see those huge names that we were mentioning before. Like if you see the actual case of the Joseph Martinez career, he wasn't really a star when he played in Torino in Italy or the clubs he played in. So I guess that's the concept he was talking about. But saying that, or that being said, Jorge Mas confirmed, according to Michelle Kaufman, that they were close to signing Agustín Almendra from Boca Juniors.
Yeah.
Could that be a good solution for you? Would you be happy? You think the fans here in Inter Miami
do we need another number 8? That's my question. I don't know with Trapp and Ulloa. I don't know if we need a number. I mean, of course, having a young talent like that is good. I just want to get your thoughts, Peter, because you were at both the games. Do we need another midfielder?
Yeah, that's where we're overloaded, right? We need that number 9 is what we need.
Yeah.
But you can't turn down a talent like Almendra. I mean,
yes,
people are calling him the next Riquelme. So you can't say no to Riquelme, right? You find a way to put him on the field.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I guess, Will Trapp. I mean, I was excited when they brought in Will Trapp. I thought
very excited. Very, very that was very big for us.
Yeah, but if you got this guy and he's playing in a similar position, I'm okay with setting Trapp if this guy is all that they say he is. Now, I'm not a big Boca Juniors watcher or viewer, so I really haven't followed him. He just came on my radar once Inter Miami started talking about him.
Yeah.
So it's a loan, and my contacts within the team say it's a done deal, and so it's going to happen from everything I hear. But it's young, promising talent, so I guess you can't lose on that.
Yeah, it's not something you can be mad at per se. No. It's just
is it the right? Is it what we need the most? And I would say no.
But I think if they were working on it before all these injuries, it might as well follow through and then go on with something later on.
Yeah, and those injuries that's what's the surprise is, in one of my recent videos, you could see Carranza on his little scooter
wheeling around.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah, that's a video we released this week, and he's on at least it's pink. So
true.
He's got the branding down. But then when Agudelo went down, and Agudelo was still a question mark because Agudelo is not necessarily the Agudelo of old. The Red Bull Agudelo, it's very different than the New England Agudelo. So which one do we have? Mm-hmm. We don't, and unfortunately, we're not going to know. And we haven't really heard how long is he going to be out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have no idea. They didn't release anything.
They're real quiet about that.
Yeah.
Yes, and that could be bad news. But anyway, we have to remind people that in MLS we have different calendars from European leagues, so it's gonna take some time maybe to bring a star that's still playing somewhere in a good club, hopefully in Europe. But going past that subject already, we have a power ranking from ESPN, and I know you guys are not happy about it. I don't like rankings anyway because they're not really a good I don't know, I think they don't really reflect what their teams are. But anyway, here we go. I know you guys want to talk about these rankings, so here we go. ESPN Power Rankings for MLS and Inter Miami. It's 25th out of 26. It's Inter Miami that bad?
Listen, okay. Here's my thing. One, it's not Nashville that's in 26. It's FC Cincinnati, which makes sense. But I think if you compare both of our rosters, our roster against Nashville's, I don't know how you rank us below them. I don't know. Peter, what are your thoughts?
Who did this ranking? Jason Davis did this ranking. I guess he's a reputable guy. But, I don't have a problem with being at the bottom because we're unknown. But
yeah,
I think most pundits would tell you we're expected to be higher than Nashville. The expectation is that most pundits think that Miami will make the playoffs or almost make the playoffs, come really close. And everybody else thinks that, and those same pundits think that Nashville could be one step above Cincinnati, kind of maybe compare it to Orlando, right? As well. They have never made the playoffs in their years. So that's the biggest surprise is where we are against Nashville. I have no problem being on the bottom. We're unknown, but I want to be above Nashville.
Agreed. 100% agreed. I have the optimism that I think we're going to make the playoffs. Even if it's that last seed, I really think we can. I think we're talented enough, and we've brought in the names. They're not, the highest, most marketable names, but after all the research that I've gotten to do working for the network and being able to write about them and research as much as I possibly could to learn about these kids, not kids, I mean, most of them are kids, to be honest,
A lot of them.
a lot of them
Young
are.
men.
It's just young men, we'll say, but there are a lot of names that will bring star power. I mean, and I think that you'll see another, I don't want to say we'll be just like Atlanta, but I think in terms of
in 2 years.
Yeah, in terms of creating names and MLS stars, I think that there's a couple of people that we have that will turn out. Pellegrini being one, Carranza being one, and honestly, even Lewis Morgan being one. I actually got a chance to talk to a Celtic fan when I was serving at a restaurant, and there was some guy with a Scottish accent, so I asked him where he was from, and we started just talking. He said he's from Scotland, and I asked him about Lewis Morgan because he said he was a Celtic fan. And he said, you guys got a really good kid on your hands. I mean, he is talented. We loved him in the short amount of time he had with Celtic because he was on loan at St. Mirren and stuff like that. Yeah. He was a fan favorite in Scotland, and he's 23. He's extremely confident. If you watch his tapes, he's extremely confident. He loves a long shot. He can dribble past defenders. He's quick. So there's just those kind of names that can come in and make a name for themselves. I think it really can happen, and so I'm really high on it. On us anyway. I think 25 is almost like just, I mean, stomping on our heads and saying, you guys are the worst. I hate it. But I think we should be a little higher, and I wouldn't be disappointed if we missed the playoffs, but I think that we have a real shot at it. And then, like I mentioned in the couple earlier episodes and the 305 Live, I think that we're going to really focus on a U.S. Open Cup run because that's what we can get an easy qualifications for the CONCACAF Champions League, which I know you're high on, Peter. Yeah. So the Champions League, that's something that might be in Paul McDonough's head going far in the Open Cup. I think we're a deep enough side to where it won't, kill our rotation and stuff like that. I think we have enough guys to slot in. And so, yeah, those two things, I think that right at the end of the East rankings in the playoffs, I think we can hit there, and then a deep run in the Open Cup and trying to win that to get a CONCACAF Champions League is where we'll end up. 25 out of 26 teams, not what I think.
All right, yeah. Talking about expectations. Okay, we're 5 days away from the first game against LAFC. So what do you guys expect? I know Austin's gonna be there.
Great.
And we're probably going to do a 305 live from the stadium. So check it out and go and follow 5 Reasons on Twitter. But what do you guys expect from this opening game for Inter Miami? Peter?
Well, we got the toughest team in the league to start off with, right? So the Shield winner. So, it's a welcome to the league.
Yeah.
But the positive is that they are playing on Thursday against Lyon. So do they play the same starters that they're going to use in Lyon game against Inter Miami? I don't know. Not. I mean, right. Maybe we're not seeing the strongest version of LAFC. Now you could look at it the other way and that, hey, they've had games under their belt. They're not in preseason form. That's a positive, right? But could they be tired? They're playing a game on Thursday. Could they be tired? Could we take that and run with it? I have, as much as you were praising some of these players, I do have concerns about one player that I was very, very hopeful of, and that's Pellegrini, because I got to see Pellegrini against the Philadelphia Union, and he left a lot to be desired. Now, it's preseason, so hopefully that's all it was. He ran around the field a lot, got red in the face a lot, and didn't do a lot, though. It wasn't very productive. It was a lot of movement with a lot of results.
You're reminding me of Jesse Lingard here.
Yeah.
Or Griezmann sometimes.
Yeah.
And also I had a really good seat, and he was really close to me when he was playing on the wing. And his face was like so red. I'm like, dude, you got to get in shape to play in Florida. And we're playing in Tampa where it was a nice crisp, like 60 something degrees. It was cool. What is he going to do in the 80, 90 degree heat that we have here in South Florida? So I've got my concerns about some of the players. Hopefully he grows into being the player that we expect, because obviously we're looking at him as one of those kind of young players you bring in, you buy low and sell high. So that's a what we're hoping for. But it's definitely going to be a tough game in LA. I've heard that the game is sold out. The tickets the resale market is through the roof.
Yeah,
people want to be at this game, and I know that the Miami supporters are going there in mass. I know of Southern Legion in particular that I'm a member of, one of the supporters groups. They've got a bunch of people that are making that flight out there to support Inter Miami to see that first game. So I think as far as where we end up, I think at the end of the day, we lose, right? But but that's not something you hang your head about.
Of course
it's the first game against LAFC. I just want to come out of that game and see some promise. Do we have something to work with, or is it that mess that I saw when they played against Philadelphia Union? It was just very disorganized, and that was my biggest takeaway. It was just the strength was Figal. Figal is a beast in the back. He wins every header. His positioning is outstanding, and he likes to bang the drum with the fans. You can't lose. He's great. And Lee Win, solid. Will Trapp was really good. Pizarro did a great job. But that's about it. So there's still a lot we need to learn about this team. And so that's what at the end of the day with LAFC, I just want to come out of that thing. Is there promise, or are we really going to start questioning some of the decisions that Paul McDonough made?
What do you think, Austin? What are you expecting from this first game?
I mean, definitely. I'm not going to say definitely a loss because you want to have a little options, but a loss is probably on the cards.
Maybe a tie, guys. Come on.
I mean, yeah, okay. We'll say a tie. It's a tough first game, and it is like a welcome to MLS. But like Peter said, I just want to see a good performance. I want to see that we've improved from, I guess, that game in Tampa from the Philly game. I want to see just some kind of organization, some good team play, a little bit of individual talent, just to give me some kind of promise and hope. I don't know, Peter, before we get all of these, we get to actually look at the team in a full MLS game. I said I think we're going to finish in the East. Where do you think we're going to finish?
I would hope to finish just inside the playoffs, basically same thing you said. But, what I've seen so far, maybe not. Maybe just outside the playoffs. And I don't think that's a bad season. It's the first season in MLS. That's okay. That's the problem, though, with the South Florida market. It is a tough sports market. We have so many, soccer snobs here that they're going to go and see Inter Miami, and they're used to watching the best in South America or the best in Europe on TV or wherever they grew up. And they're going to go see Inter Miami, and they may see that same team that I saw play against the Union, which is not the end of the world, but just a little bit of a mess. And if you're a bit of a snob, are you now going to come back and support them and really get behind this team, or are you going to turn your back on them? So I think that's my biggest worry is I want them to come out of the gate strong for their future. It's not so much about where I feel like they're going to end the season in the standings. I just need them to be good enough to get the people to get behind them, because again, the supporters down here, they're fickle in all sports. And we want winners. And if you're not winning, they turn and they're going to come back and they're going to look at those promises that were made and were not delivered. Paul McDonough did say several times, and he really outlined it, why he did not want to go to the summer transfer window. He wanted somebody now because he felt that if you wait till the summer, you're only going to probably have them for about 10 games, especially with all the international competitions that are coming over the summer. You're going to pay a lot of money for somebody that you're really not going to have a lot. And how much difference are they going to make in those 10 games? So he was really adamant about getting somebody in the winter. Now, obviously, that's not happening because who can we get now? I mean, it's really nobody. So nobody that you want. And so you have to wait till the summer.
Roger Martinez?
Yeah, but do you want Roger Martinez? More importantly, do you want his agent? I don't want his agent.
I've heard that was
the agent wants to be a DP. And that's funny is that I say the agent wants to be a DP. That was when I had my conversation with Paul McDonough. I had mentioned to him that clearly Diego Alonso was not our first choice, was not our second choice. Probably wasn't even our third or fourth choice. He may have been our fourth choice. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, we had been having conversations with him for a long time. And I mentioned to him, well, if he was your first choice, you would have hired him back in September when he became available.
100%.
He would not be, right. And so, our choices we're dwindling, in going through all facets of this team. And so at the end of the day, we got what we got, and hopefully it's good enough for the fickle South Florida fans. And just, not everybody's like probably us. Like, I'm going to be there rain or shine regardless. Even if they are Cincinnati, I will be there. But God, I hope they're not.
Yeah, let's really hope they're not Cincinnati. What do you think about an Open Cup run?
Before we end up this episode, we need your starting 11 for the first game of the season.
Starting 11.
Oh yes. Yeah, starting 11.
We like doing this here.
No, I should have been prepared.
Yeah. Just from the top of your head.
Here's my concerns.
Yeah.
I thought you pencil in or you ink in Ben Sweat, right? He makes sense. He's a defender that has got MLS experience up in New York. He was solid. I saw him. I was not impressed. All I saw was Figal yelling at him in Spanish, and I wondered, does Ben Sweat speak Spanish? I don't think he does.
Oh, man.
All right, Austin, what were you asking, Peter?
I was just going to say, what are your thoughts on an Open Cup run that I mentioned?
Oh, I think that's great. I think it's definitely look, if you feel like you're not coming out of the gate super strong, and you're maybe not going to really go for that MLS Cup in your first season, which would be, I think there's only one team that's done that, which was Chicago Fire back in 1996 or 1998, I think it is. I don't think anybody else has done that in their first year. So, yeah, definitely put your focus on something that is maybe a little more reachable. And so, you could play a few of the lower level teams, some USL teams, working your way up, gaining your confidence and all that. If you win any trophy in your first year, or make a deep run in any competition in your first year, that's a success.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm going to go quickly through my starting 11, and you tell me if you have any disputes. Okay, Peter?
All right, let's do that. Yeah,
I've got Robles Robles starting, who was named captain. Classy move by Beckham to come to training and give it to him. Then I've got Sweat on the left back, Figal, Torres, and then Nealis or Powell. I was going back and forth. I saw Nealis started. Yeah. I don't know if you got to see. I don't know if Powell started in Tampa against Tampa. He did. Okay, so
he started against Tampa and he looked good. So at this point, Nealis was okay, but I thought in that first game, both of our wing defenders got abused. So I think I would probably put Nealis on the bench.
Okay, so we'll say Powell. We'll go with Powell. Then I have I'm going to stick with a 4-2-3-1 like Alonso's done before. I've got Trapp and Ulloa playing the 2 number 8 roles. On the left and on the right, Pellegrini, and I don't know, was Lewis Morgan okay?
Yeah, Lewis Morgan looked okay. I mean, I didn't that game. I was hanging out with the fans as well in the supporters section. So
okay.
You're looking through flags,
of course.
But over from what I saw, he didn't do anything amazing, but he was solid.
So I'm going to put Pellegrini and Morgan on the wings.
Agreed.
Pizarro at the number 10, and I guess Robbie Robinson up at number 9. He's been getting the minutes, and I said Kiesewetter after Agudelo went down, but since Robinson's getting the minutes and he bagged himself a goal, I'm going to say Robinson.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I can't really speak to Kiesewetter since we haven't seen him. He may be awesome.
I watched him a lot in El Paso, and I don't know if that's the USL team, of course, and it was their first season just like we are. I went out there for a week. I covered them for a week, and he scored an amazing goal in a great game against Tulsa. But throughout the whole entire season, he was their leading goal scorer, being out like 10-plus games. So, he was that good for them up top, and he did so much. We had somebody from El Paso join us and talk about just like what he can do on the field. He's that guy that gets in the box and puts it in from the 6-yard box. If you can deliver him balls inside the box, he's going to finish for you. So that's why I was high on him, just because of that personal experience and getting to actually watch him live and follow him so much with El Paso. But if Robinson's done well in training and he's getting the minutes, I'm okay with that 100%. Do what's best for the team.
Yeah, but with Kiesewetter, he was in USL, and I figure he's in USL for a reason.
He had just left Germany. He was with Dusseldorf before he went to El Paso. There was an extended period of time where he didn't have a team. He went through like one window without having a team, and then that's when El Paso brought him in. He was with Dusseldorf. He played in the second Bundesliga. I think he only had one appearance in the actual Bundesliga when Dusseldorf was there, and now they're back in the Bundesliga. But when he was in Germany, he played a lot in the second Bundesliga. But after he got cut from them, I mean, didn't have a team. He has made national team appearances, which is another, good thing. He's only 26 or 27. He's not old, but he's experienced enough, I think. I don't know. It's a toss-up for me at the number 9. I just kind of hope we bring someone in so I can be settled.
Yeah, well, imagine if we get another injury. What we could see too is I question, could they possibly put Pizarro up top?
Yeah.
Now that's not his position, but in the game that I saw him, and he did play that position at times. When he came in and he replaced Agudelo, he went to Agudelo's position, and eventually, like I said, he floated around to wherever he felt comfortable. But he definitely played that role. So could they potentially put him as the, like you guys said, the false 9 or whatever? Could they put him up top? Be out of no other real option.
I could definitely see a 4-3-3 false 9 and then slot Lee Win into the midfield so he's not too attacking or he's not too defensive, and have Trapper Ulloa. Yeah, it might be the better way to go, and have the wingers too. It's going to be interesting. We'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see on Sunday. So thank you, Pieter Brown, for coming to this 3rd episode of the Black and Pink Show. Remember to follow him, subscribe to their YouTube channel, Futbol Miami TV. Football in Spanish, Futbol Miami TV. So follow them there. Thank you, Pieter, for coming.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a blast, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Pieter.
Yeah. And Austin, I'll see you on Sunday on our 305 Live. So you enjoy your travel to Los Angeles.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coronavirus, though.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
Don't bring it back here.
Listen.
Keep it there.
Stay there.
Oh, man. Crossing my fingers.